Hello YouTube community, this is Dave with Spinner Rack Studios and welcome back to another video. And in my previous video I introduced my new Hey Kids reproduction rack, which holds slab comic books, and as I promised we'd do a little bit deeper dive and I'd pull out some of the books in the rack. So here we're going to start with one that you probably are familiar with, Batman 181, first appearance of Poison Ivy. And let me pull it off. Just a little bit of glare here and there. This is one of those copies that, you know, if you really look at it, it presents very well. Certainly better than generally probably a 7.5 would present. And the one problem with it is, and I don't know if you can see it here, but it's got a corner that got bent over at some point in time and a little crease there that does break color. So let's pull out a copy of FF57. Great looking cover. Maybe I'll do a video one of these days of Fantastic Four covers 1 through 100 that have a surfer in them. But you know, those early Fantastic Four covers, those are my favorite. Obviously here is an iconic cover with Dr. Doom. And you got the surfer. Really great cover. All right, here is a Thor cover. And I don't have a lot of Thor books. Thor typically, early on when I was collecting, was not one of my favorite characters. And I've actually grown more fond of Thor with the movies, surprisingly. But the Thor books that I really like are the ones with Hela on the cover. I find her costume, especially that headpiece, to be very interesting. And so there you can see Hela has done a number to Thor. And here is a copy of Tales of Suspense 98. And let me try to get it back in the frame here a little bit better. With Captain America fighting the Panther, the Black Panther. And let me pull out a copy of Daredevil here. As I mentioned before, Spider-Man is my favorite character. And so you don't see that spider light or very much anymore. I don't even know if he carries it, but I've always kind of liked that one with the spider light there in the background. All right. Oops. Let's spin this rack and you know, one of the things that seems to be highly collectible these days are first appearances of Batman's Rogue Gallery in the Silver Age. And of course, most of those first appearances in the Silver Age are in either Detective Comics or Batman. But here's one. Of Solomon Grundy. And this is from Showcase 55. And I really love this book. I love the kind of the deep blue, almost purple look to it. A difficult book to find in high grade, partly because of the black pants and coat that he wears there. Quite often you see copies where there's creases or color loss. And here, of course, is Fantastic Four 48. First appearance of the Surfer in Galactus. This comic book is kind of interesting. It's a 4.5, not a particularly high grade. And, I don't know, hopefully I probably should have taken it out of its package here to get a better view. But if you look at it, especially the front cover here, you probably think, why is that a 4.5? And it really does present much better than a 4.5. It looks more like probably a 7.5. But the reason why for the grade is if you turn it around, you'll see some significant browning, tanning along the edge here. And what's more, and hopefully you can see this, but let's see here. There's, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some chipping right here, kind of like a little bit of some Marvel chipping, a little piece of missing. And of course, this was one of the problems with some of the Silver Age Marvel books, is the so-called Marvel chipping. And here it's been made a little bit worse by the fact that you've got some browning and a little bit of brittleness along the top edge especially. But the front cover really presents well. I like books like this where you can pick them up for a decent price and they show much better than what typically the grade would indicate. And let's spin this back around one more time. Here is an early X-Men book, number 38. And a blob cover. The X-Men certainly have come a long ways since these early days back in the 60s. And here we have issue 69 of Submariner. And obviously I have this comic because of the Spider-Man image. Great image. I love it. Kind of a classic Spider-Man pose where he's barely hanging on the wall there. Amazing Adventures number 7. I've always liked the perspective of this cover with these guys coming right at you, and of course there's Black Widow at the bottom. And we'll give it one more spin here. Here's a book, Fantastic Four Annual number 6, that is being spec'd a lot because of the potential for Annihilus to be in a movie. It's also the issue in which Franklin Richards is born. And I'm trying to get the glare out there. And then finally, I don't collect a lot of recent books, but of course here's Batman Adventures number 12, first appearance of Harley Quinn. And, you know, Harley Quinn's an interesting character. She's really kind of, I think, taken the comic books by storm, and I think, you know, in the, I don't know, the modern era, I'm not sure when technically the modern era started, but I do think she's probably one of the top most important characters to be introduced in the modern era. You see her all the time, and you know, she's kind of become a powerhouse of a character. Well, anyway, that's a few of the books that I have in the spinner rack, and hopefully you've enjoyed seeing them. And I think my next video will probably be a new room tour. So until then, I hope you're doing well and take care.